Today I'm going to share for you a song that I wrote. It is the second song I've ever written. It is titled Her Eyes. As I was working late by myself one afternoon, she walked through the door and I asked, "Can I help you?" As I lifted my eyes to gaze straight at her, I was surprised to find the most beautiful girl. And the one thing I noticed above all the rest were her eyes, glimmered like gems in the light. Her eyes shone like stars in the night. Her eyes held me captive in their beauty, held me captive in their gaze. She needed directions, so I told her what she wanted to hear. Then I asked her to dinner, she whispered in my ear. When I walked through that door and gazed straight at you, I knew right then that one would become two. And the one thing I noticed above all the rest was her voice, with the sweetest Turkish delight. Her voice was like a songbird at sunrise, and her voice held me captive by its beauty, held me captive by its sound. A few years down the road, she comes to me all aglow. She grabs my hand, says we have to go, and I'm rushing to get there in time, for I want there to be no problems with this child of mine. But the labor is intense, the problems multiply. Doctor says we can save your daughter, but your wife is gonna die. And I hit the ground, falling to my knees, and I cried out, "Lord, can you help me please?" But it was not to be. No matter how much I prayed, my wife gave birth and then she passed away. Then the doctor came out with a bundle in his arm. He offered his condolences and he wished me no harm. And the one thing I noticed above all the rest were her eyes, gleaming like gems in the light. Her eyes shone like stars in the night. And her eyes held me captive in their beauty, held me captive in their gaze. And her eyes gleaming like gems in the light. And her eyes shone like stars in the night. And her eyes held me captive in their beauty, held me captive in their gaze. Thank you. That was Her Eyes, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you enjoyed it.